Okay, so we have logged into Session From here, we are trying to head to a McDonald's and try to invoke this service and get the data from the restaurants, whatever we had tried from in the past. So if we just go here, so you would see a sample services we have used, which is all having a batch or apex or something like that. We had restaurant service, we had something that we're trying to hit a service, passing the restaurant number, and then that's how we're trying to get it. So now for the same method only, I could give same method I could give at the rate or enable. So I can call the same thing. So just simply have to pass the restaurant number, and this will all go hit a service and get me the data, and the written data would get me in different way. So let's try to use this because we are trying to say successfully fetched or something like this, but you want to display some data, uh, you have to show them in wisely. For example, here we say this is the case where we try to insert an account. So you're passing restaurant number. Oh, okay. So we hit a restaurant number there, and the results we get, and the results based on the results we get, we try to insert the record in Salesforce, and we say finally we say success or failure in Salesforce, and this is something that we are trying to pass few params, and then we say finally to create a record in the third-party systems, and again we're going to show success message or failure message there. Okay, whatever the return we're getting, so we can display them. So both the ways they were trying to insert the record, no problem. So let's go create new lightning aura component. Firstly here I will say checking about domain. All the settings are correct. My domain, yeah, and domain is already there. I think recently Salesforce is all giving for everyone the domain should be used. No problem. So we'll go to lightning component. I think I wanted everything so that maybe I would add in a page, I would in anything I can do it. So this is something. Um, Fetch MCD. So fetch MCD or a component. So this is implementation to all, and so we may use a few controllers like restaurant land service. We're just simply going to pass the restaurant number. So our UI should take a param called as so one a single argument params called as restaurant number. So based on that, we're going to show some success message there. So for us, the UI should be ready. UI something let's do with the UI like have a component, symbol, text box, and a button. So we have to pass them, and those things only will be able to what do you say retrieve the results saying that something successful message. So we want to have error message. So the error message or success message that we wanted to show here. So that is our ultimate goal we have. So now what I want to do is just simply have a UI, and the UI is trying to call the method. So that's the ultimate thing which I wanted it. So let's have um, in the LDS we have something. Let's see form element. Yesterday was checking the form element. Any form along with the button also would work. Or so let's go with the simple form somewhere. Some text box people are having it. So like this is a placeholder. This is like a phone UI. Okay, if this is the form label and then we're going to give input, let's take something like this. Mm, so there's a form label. We say instead of form label, it's a restaurant. So enter the restaurant number, something it is here. So placeholder could be enter, enter number or enter restaurant number. We can give it. Okay, but let's come here. Before that, we need to have our attribute. So the our attribute, something we wanted to give it as so I'm gonna give name is equals to. So there's a restaurant number that we're taking here, and then so what it is a type. So we can type name it as a string or something. Because data type you have to mention. So I'm just giving type. Type is a string. So string is a class, so we have to give SS caps. And then so these are data type that we used here. So now if I wanted to have something that I wanted to give that input that should take something um, I don't know whether we can use this input text. So we directly will use lightning input. Lightning colon input. And then we need to specify an our ID which you're passing. Something like an our ID is required. And I say that our ID would be some restaurant number. And what else? So we label anywhere the above we have mentioned. And so we require a value what to be passed. And this we so value would be so the restaurant number whatever I'm passing. Always insert that okay the variable something you're passing. So we have to use v dot. Getting so v dot restaurant number something the variable v we are trying to hold. This is like a placeholder. If you assign some value in the controller, so whatever the value you assign there, it will be here. You can display the record or something that you are taking here. We are taking to the controller. So currently, what the value has been stored here, so we can see them. If I just do it right, it's just like again a printf only, but this acts as a two-way binding. If you see Angular and all, they will have two-way binding. If I put a value here, wherever it is referenced, the value would be dynamically changed there. If somewhere you're changing, the same value would be changed here. Yeah, so that's a two-way binding. We have so we are trying to input the value here. V dot restaurant number, the variable restaurant number. I wanted to give some value. That's a string type, and they want to take some. So style. I don't know if they have style or not.
So it's like you can enter the restaurant number in this one, or you can get the value from somewhere else and you can.
No, no. What I'm trying to say is this is the UI. So where
Uh-huh.
you're trying to set a value here. Whatever you're setting a value here, you're trying to get in controller. You're getting so whatever the people are entering a value here in the text box, that is something you're setting there inside the text box. So now
Okay.
I want to
So
get
you're
that value.
binding to that input field.
Yes, yes. I mean, the value, whatever we're entering, it's just like assigning integer a is equal to 10, you're saying, right?
Okay.
Now we are assigning the value to this. And whatever you assign, you're trying to get in the controller. The controller won't understand. So the moment we have to say v dot, aura, so we say component dot get v dot variable, what is holding, give me.
Okay.
So this indirectly we're trying to set it. If from a control point of view, we are setting some value, we should say v dot set some component dot set, and then we give the variable is equal to so and so. So currently it is like normally how you see a text box, and the text box is having the elements.
So how that binding is happening between, okay, you remove, okay, got it.
And this is the one way, only lighting input we can get it, and I've put this style here. Whatever the style generally takes, I'm just putting that. So what we're trying to have is simple attribute, and attribute is been defined here. Why? Because we want the input text box to be taken. So another one we require is a button, because simple text box will not help us. You enter a number and then you have to enter the button also, right?
Yeah.
So we need a button. So to handle the button, we need our handlers. Correct, right? So you are trying to invoke a method in the controller. So our column handler is required for that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So our color handler, and then we can give a name of the method, whatever we had wanted to design there. So what I say is, um, so let's put the name. Handler name is equals to, so whatever the method that you can give it, and then action. So prior to that, some button you need to have so to give such value. So I would say that so what method name shall we give it?
Save, right? Or okay, fetch.
Fetch. So c dot. So c dot fetch. So action should be given in double quotes. Okay. Hey Kumar. So we want to give some value. Value is also I'm saying uh, fetch restaurant. So this is a handler name that we keeping the name of it is. And now we need to have a button. So the button is going to call some action. So I need to have a button. So here import box lightning here. So let's try to have a same type of element where I wanted to place next to this a lightning button. So lightning button label, I would say label is equal to fetch restaurant, and then so variant. See this early. I think this is your say early. An Aura component can have a buttons, and we saw variant is like primary, um, brand. All that is already the same thing. It is color of the button. It is success, dangerous. So that variant it is. So primary means it's a blue color. Brand is a flat one, and then danger means like a red box cancel button. We can use it. So like this various we have. So now one more thing is that we want to do is on click. On click, what do you wanted to call? So I wanted to call some action method. So then action method would be what method that I'm going to define here. So that method name is something like, for example, c dot fetch restaurant. Um, so what we'll do is we'll try to do initially. Generally, our handlers are used for. I think this is for getting for constructors. We'll get back to this. So when we do is our handlers, something like when you do init method and the values we say something like this, and then action something you do it, fetch or init you can have it. So or do init something. You know this? So this absolutely talks about a unload of a page, unload unload of the page. So we want to get the results. So something it's for a constructor type test. So now we are trying to hit the button directly here. So let's see. I have an input box, I have a button. So the button is trying to hit to the component controller and I need to go to the controller now. So restaurant, fetch restaurant is the method that we're writing here. Yeah. So clear, right? So very flat. So you have a text box that has been inputted here and the button which is having c dot restaurant. So from here, we're going to call to this method. Here we're trying to pull the value from the what v dot that restaurant number is holding. So that is what we have taken now. So I would say component dot get. So I wanted to assign that value to this particular sorry, what do you say? Apex controller and should have at the rate or enable. So I'm just giving at the rate or enabled. So that's it. So that way this class would be accessible for us. So what I have to do is I have to put this restaurant service controller into our component. Okay. So this I'm going to save it. Very simple. In the last class, what we try to do is we try to send some results, send some contact number, and then get the data, right? Something like that. We'll use it and get some data. So we have a controller there. In the controller, what we did is same thing. So, but here, this guy, what did we do is we just simply called them as get contacts. Now we have to pass the params here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we have to pass the param, and the param that we have to receive, send to service, and then we have to get the data. So to do this activity, so we have to send a value. So these early systems we have c dot get contacts we don't do because we are not getting any data there. So now is something we are setting it up value. So let's come back to this area. Okay. So what I want to do is to do some activity. So I wanted to say so this component first let's write an action. So where action is equals to this component dot get. I'm just passing an account number, the method that what we written here. So it's gonna call to the restaurant. So fetch credit customer information. So that is the method they have. So get customer is something like we say c dot. So that method name. So now we have to pass the params, right? So using this action only, you have to pass the param. This is the method we know. Yes, of course, it accepts one argument parameters. So how do I do is action dot set params. I should use it. So what this param indicates, we are trying to set some values to it. So we have to have open and close braces like this. Sorry, open and close braces like this. Under that, we have to have flower braces like this. Now what you're going to define here, the variable whatever you're sending it. So that you have to give it here. What is the variable that we are passing there? So go to the controller and see the restaurant number. This is the string variable they have it. So give that variable and give colon. And what we are trying to do is, so we are trying to send the value here. So what is the value? Whatever the v dot, let's do that. The component dot get. See, you have been set here the value. I already said you. You're setting some value here in the v dot restaurant. The text box have some value there. I know someone has been texted input there. So how do we get the value inside a text box? So for that only we're doing component dot. So this component, always the component will hold the value. So component dot get off. What is that? In the component dot get, we will have this v dot the restaurant number. Correct, right?
Yeah.
So someone has text put inputs. That value we have been assigning to this variable. This is actually set params. So typically, if you see here, so this is something that that class name dot method name, we are passing some value here. The value we are passing here. Getting this is a method name, and you pass in the v dot restaurant number. But how do you do is we are assigning to this the original terms of whatever the variable that has been defined here. Why? Because we are making sure the value has been rightly assigned there. So to do this all activity in order, we have to write first. You have to call the method name, and then you have to call whatever the values are stored in our text box, and then we are assigning to the restaurant variable whatever the string that has been here defined. Okay? So something like this it is. So your value has been assigned to our variable, and it's a pattern of string. So then they get into a method. So something like this it is. So we are good here, right? So action we call, and then we are setting a parameters, and we are having this restaurant also is ready there. So now what you have to do is we have to set the action now. Action using whatever the actions we have to fire on, because action is only holding your method, your variable, and next we have to do a callback. Action dot set callback. You have to do it by because you are trying to retrieve the results post the method whatever it has been the restaurant number you given, and it went to the method. What is the answer we're getting back? So callback only will indicate for us. So we say every time when you do a callback, so we firstly indicate this particular function, what is happening. So this function, and please provide me the result of this. Result or response will be holding here. So any variable ABC also you can have it. Or last time we had response there. Correct. So this time I'm just putting as a result because you can have any variable there. And then so we have open and close braces. Function set callback is called enter that functions there. Okay. So we have to define and set some terms. The syntax is perfect. You have to open and close, and then this open and close here, set callback function. So now what we have to do is we know that the moment we try to hit a service, we would get some value there. Like we may get a success or a failure, we don't know. So response dot results, whatever these results we had, no result dot get return value, we have to put it up. So basically, um, so I want to say success message here. So console dot log, I can print in the console dot log result dot. So result dot get return value. So this is a function which we had. So we'll improvise this statement. We just simply we'll see the restaurant number. If I pass, I would where I was able to get some data here. Controller line number parsing error and exported thing. Oh, the result dot get in value, right? So last time also we used this. Get in value. Same only. So what we have decided there. So response dot get return. Same thing I'm trying to do there. Same callback function. Set callback this dot function. Okay, post this I think so they're expecting to have so we need to always have the enqueue actions. So I think so set callback at the last day at print termination. That's correct. We are also doing the same. Set callback as a termination and then 7 travel and correction. Okay. Helper, helper, close control perfect. Var action c dot get this also correct. Set params restaurant colon component dot get also is correct. So what else is missing? Action dot set callback. Oh, sorry. It's this comma it is not start. This comma function. So in the result we are trying to open this got stuck man. So let the page refresh.
Hello.
Raj, you're on mute.
Yeah, Raj is on mute.
Even this taking like time. If this is not happening, so we have to close and reload. So this is working fine. Yeah, it loaded. Is there?
Yeah.
Oh, few things are not there here. So let me reopen our component. Oh, hmm. It's no problem. Yeah, okay. So C dot this method. C dot fetch related customer method. So we have it first here. Then action dot. I think we're using set params. Action dot set params. So there we give two things. So one is that it's v dot in the component variable what you decided. So we register a number. Is it both are same? Oh. The class will not change, we'll say in the order. Oh, and how it got closed. And this method got saved. For this action, I'm just defining now action dot set params. And then in the RIUI, I wanted to change this to as restaurant number. Oh, I think we have to give one single quotes, right? Yeah. So we dot restaurant number, we're passing it here. This error, why we're getting it? Failed to save McDonald controller J, CSL error. Mhm. So isn't it our other at or enable? So yes. So these are eligible only. You know what difference we have? Um, C dot correction and then directly passing it. It's just we are not having any params here, so we didn't pass any params. But why it's trying to send a param there? No problem. We just see. Um, let me check this error. So parsing unexpected tokens. So action dot set params. I think we did the same, right? So let me copy this. What is missing here? See, v dot case component dot get, and the case is assigning. It all seems to be same. Let me do this again. So here we have restaurant number, and here we have component v dot restaurant number.
But a restaurant number that's in brackets right there.
But we have opened here and we have opened closed here.
Oh, okay.
So this all looks again same, but I'm unsure about. Let's see. Huh? It got saved. Control. I'll do control Y. What is? Sorry, control Z. Action dot set params open close open same component dot get.
What is it?
Oh, we don't have a semicolon
After that, yeah.
here. So it is after this we have a semicolon. Hmm. So if I try to save our context only, whether it is going to save, let's see. It's saved. So set params, you are sending the our variable and then component. So ideally inside we are defining it, right? Like a method, you're trying to pass a variable, we shouldn't give a comma instead of just if you are having too many params, you will have a commas here. You getting? So how can I give a statement of semicolon here? That's incorrect, right? So that's the logic there. Tomorrow if you have 3-4 parameters to pass, so just have comma and then have comma. You getting? So these are the 4 parameters you're sending in the params you think. Getting like 1, 2, 3, how we have commas there. So we are sending for this particular method, we can have include parameters as name, email, address. We can have so many. So inside whatever you send, you shouldn't have a comma. That is the ideal way we are telling it. Yeah, correct. Okay. What is this now?
Component, you need to keep comma there. Top function. After component. No, no,
Oh, sorry. I missed that, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now we have a so it set callback we have to have, right? So I'll go callback. We have somewhere here action dot set callback. So this dot, and we don't write any uh, uh, get callback function. So we directly write a function here. Action dot this. So this action has been defined. Set callback function, and I'm gonna put a result here inside. Send the result. After that, I'm gonna open a brace. Okay, perfect. So now this result will hold some value, and that value indicates what to be retained in this. So already we have that. So this only I was trying to do console.log, and then we just wanted to just see that what we are trying to get the context there. For example, this result dot get in value. So we will try to get some data there. So I'll put inside this so that it's throwing adjacent interval. So also ready. So we have a UI here component here. The moment you try to fetch, it will try to come here and then it return the controller here. So now what will happen just to this method, there would be a value would be passed and then a result, whatever we get, it will be here in this. So that simply we try to print it out. And we'll say whether it is success or a failure. So we'll have a separate error messages to display the same. Okay. So we need to have something like error message to be specifically built, and then so we have to handle them in displaying of error messages. So that those components will get it here and then only set error. So something like toast message we have. set toast for success and failure. Success and error. So display toast message in component design or toast documentations of Apex Salesforce we'll see. So this is the toast functions we have, and we specifically say that when to fire. If you say that it's now successfully updated, then we get to this. If it is wrong, so we don't do this. Someone would have a simple example saying that what toast should do it. Title message, what template should display. All they have it. For example, in general, so if you click on a button, so if there is a success message, you have to show a message like this. So when I would do when I would display as a toast is, firstly we'll see, yeah. So when I want to display toast is something like success we have to indicate, so that time I will throw this message. So let's come here. So when we want to display the toast, so we got set callback. Now the callback should have a return statement as success state. So then I'll display that. So var state is equal to, I think this we already written here in our previous examples. So var state response dot success, else if else error. So this we will have to take it now. I think this will to reiterate. We just put this. So instead of response, it is result now. So result dot get state double equal to, sorry, this triple equal to indicates that exactly I need to have the same text. So that is called as equivalent. So we don't do anything like set like this. So instead we try to give that success message if anything goes wrong. So we can print the error message there. Now how the toast would be helpful to us to display. So go here. So var toast, a toast set params to key. And then you can give very simple message like this. That's enough. So toast set params, title is success, and the message, if at all you wanted to indicate that what you wanted to display, the record has been updated successfully, have right? So I wanted to give a message something that we do. What is the return value we got it? Result dot return value what we got it. So I want to print them there. Because getting if it is an error, so again, so for error, I don't know whether they have. Yes, they have like error. They will have success. Response dot get errors they're having, right? So in this case, it is result dot error. Okay, let them print the console log whatever they want. So here it is error, and the title is again. I'm just putting get written value because in the written value we are saying that what is the condition that we have. So along with that, if you wanted to concatenate with these error, still this console log errors we can add it up. Anyway, so both we have added. In success, you would try to display a few things. In errors, again, you have to display what return value you're getting it. Unless the state is double equal, triple equal to error, we display this. If state is success, state means what? You are getting connection and then everything is fine there. So based on this, I'm saying. Okay. At last, I think we have to have the enqueue action because all the variable, yeah. So let's say get data as a function which is already called, and then so set callback is closed properly. Yeah, after that we have to call it. set callback completely close, and then we have to terminate them. Perfect. Just one thing I have is, so this guy is like, say they're showing Toastmasters everything here. So do they have any messages to display? No. This is how we're gonna get a success, failure, something like this. So even Toastmasters, they are putting a function here. Um, so only method I could see something like in Visual Force page on that day we saw Apex colon messages we written, right? Something like this we have. I'm just thinking on it. So let's see. Anyway, so we have logic ready. So component is ready. So we have to embed this component somewhere. Um, so where should we add it? I think let's create a page only. So I'm gonna key a tab. Separately, let's get them. We'll get a component page. Directly add the component there. Fetch or this is something that fetch restaurant. So this is something. So this is a fetch restaurant we have. So I'm just click on next. So basically I'm trying to create a tab so it's visible to everyone. So the tab is now available. Lightning component tab. So it will not have an edit content. Where you click on something like edit page, something get you don't get something in the component tab. Whereas if you do for lightning page, you'll get it. So let's open that fetch restaurant tab. So we're not fetching a record and displaying the items here. Basically, this in this recently or we dealt with some other different way. So we are trying to give a restaurant number there, and then we're trying to fetch the value. So v dot restaurant number. This is not the right way. So where it is. So the input item element should be different here. So
it's taken as a value, right?
no, this is something that
Default
what
value.
correct. This should be an highlighted. I mean,
Yeah.
it should have like this exclamatory. Then it holds an
Exclamatory.
yeah, and the expression which will have some value. If it has a
Okay.
value, it's fine, or else it'll take the right value there. Um, so I'm gonna give some random number like this. So random number and see whether it is what it does. So firstly, we should see whether this is highlighting our controller, and we have to check. I didn't feel that any quick actions been called. So lightning option, quick first restaurant. Didn't see any action being performed. Let's go to inspect element and see any console log that is we're getting. And moreover, we'll try to print something like alert here. So are we getting into a component? Firstly, alert inside the chase. inside the JS. Inside the JS in the sense, I think it is going to the controller there, and then c dot fetch customer. So they didn't do anything here. So let me put console dot. Yeah, or you can have alert also for that. In the alert, I'm just trying to do what actions you're having it. That also can have it here. So this is how we have to do a debug for lightning controllers. We don't have another options. So you put in set or alert and see in the debug console what you can do maximum into the JS. And the next instant you didn't call. So that means component.get. This is not working there. This is so simple enough, I think. Why? So class component.get controller. Let me go here once. Controllers restaurant service. Get it here c dot. Okay. So what should we do is one thing we'll do. So I would try to give a random value here only. And then making this as blank. So we don't require a set params instantly now. Let's try this out. And this random restaurant is something I'm just giving. Some number I'm giving it. And I'm saving this. So this will not impact any. But we're going to comment our set params what to do it. String. Yeah. So in our component, what we're trying to do is in the controller. So here we just simply call the get. So this may not require for us currently. So let's see in this case now without a param. So passing a param itself is a problem or calling itself is a problem. So let's go check that. So this is actually useless, but just simply hitting it. Something not happening at all. Anything. There's only one thing which is missing there. Let's add this also.
Can we put an alert in the function so that whether it's going to function or not?
Yeah. No, I have a console log here, so at least that they should have been printed. They're not even printing the action what they're having it. So component.get c.fetch related customers. I don't know whether this is the issue.
Yeah, maybe we need to keep an alert there whether that is going inside that.
So that's it. They're not going. So in this case, I think something small would have missed something.
Can you keep an debug or alert statement here whether it's going inside this function?
So we can do one thing. Where here?
Yeah,
We don't have an alert statement. We have system debug here.
yeah, that means it is not coming to that point, right?
Yeah, they're not even calling the class. C dot customer. This itself has something issues. I think alert JS. So let me give in double quotes. And sometimes this works with double quotes. This component dot get. This is the class method we're calling it. And this method absolutely will check that whether there are or enabled. That's it. We don't check any further. Public static string. That's more than enough. And anyway, we have turned off the params not required. So let's see. Is not calling the some controller implements access global record type ID, some function. So this is some component dot create PDF and set params they're trying to send like this. Parent ready, component get. This is also correct. Action callback success, something they're trying to do it. The rate are enabled and then they're passing the right value. So this parent ID, whatever he has defined here, see that is also correct. So whatever followed is correct. So anyone given hmm, so the same thing we're using NQ action. Okay, let me comment this. So after refresh this, nothing much change. So then this code is guys have written use, but there's no solution for this. Huh? Hmm. They're trying to simple search and call back. So all we wanted is you call a method and then you search param. Hmm. And no one is giving useful information. So record ID component.execute function. Okay. And this contact ID have been passed here. Okay. So you need to use ca.enqueue action. It adds to the server side controller to the queue of the actions. This is what we also did. And again, simple. I mean, at least this have to come here. So it is written any controller. Parent should be named as you defined in the execute function. That also we did the same. Simply saying no success. Hmm. It's not even moving a bit. So this I will close it off. Let me not record this. So this is only one alert. After this is not cutting at all. Oh, oh, such a big mistake is this. So we have to have var. A variable has to assign. Oh my god. And this is that's a crazy thing. See, inside the function. You see that?
Yeah.
Simple variable. If you don't call, it's not even getting inside. Okay. So there's a log which has got executed, and then our controller would have been written back saying that. So it did the endpoint token and success HTTP response. It went to their results and checked. So access token there. Okay. So endpoint. So some value given here. So they have tried to search. So the runtime exception which they got. So the response result which we're getting it is 0. Some exception occurred there. Why? Because you give random number and that's not with there. So let's provide the valid number there. Now let's get into the proper use case where we try to pass the right params and then do it. Let's have the proper action. And so let's see, the action is not required here. So v dot return number to number, this is fine. So inside the function, the result is fine. So result dot get state is fine.
You can remove those alerts, right?
Yeah, inside the function. So now all we have to check it whether we are having the results displaying there. So if this is there, and the console log would still hold the value, it has been thrown out. So we'll see the right results there if console has been printing. And our
You
class
need
of, yeah,
you
should
need to
change.
change the class, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so otherwise all are same. So we're gonna do save it. Get point response result was null because I think the values were not getting in this particular class. So let's give some unique value or actual results from the McDonald's. So let me go to a restaurant and go to Bandara Hills. So I'll have to go to the Banjara Hills. What is this? Account name. So they don't have any parent account. It's useless. So you have to find some record which is parent has.
Parent.
So let me go to India Private Limited and save it. So to find a parent account, they should have their address, all that should match. We can't give randomly because our code does that. So who else can match? So Hyderabad could is only one. So let's see, this is a valid ID we are giving it. We know that solid duplicate value has been there. I think this service we're trying to fetch an instant account record in Salesforce. So fetch restaurant inside the JS. Object key namespace C. Now what is this? Secure action. What is that now? Secure action. Oh, here the action that indicates alerts a secure action, and then they went inside. Now, do they have call? Okay, some exception we got it here. Within this org, I think debug. So response results we got it. So perfectly we got the results saying that the name, all the stuff we have. So where something insert fail because already in org we have a couple of records been inserted. So duplicate found MCD customer external ID duplicates record with this. So let's if not record we'll delete this already. So why we have that is I marked that external ID as a external ID, so that would be unique across the system. So this is a record, I think. So which created long time back. Pre-populated record. Let us delete this from a service that will try to insert the record. Okay. What, we don't have permission to delete this. Okay, if you have a contact and then the guys, we can't delete them. So this is another case. So let's find a right something like a unique record from the McDonald's, and we'll try to instead of Kukatpalli, we have something that we try to do it. Again, so if you have an account and they have a contact and they have all the child records, you can't delete them. So that is the reason they're saying. So we can't delete. So McDonald's Telangana, do they have any child record? Yeah, McDonald's Telangana. They have an account number. So let's say firstly McDonald's India Private Limited has any. So this we go. So MCD IND if I do, and whoever reports to this guys, so they all will be coming in picture. Ready? So for example, just before this, McDonald's Telangana was reporting that. See, parent record. For this record, for McDonald's India, so many people were reporting it. Like Telangana were reporting it. Let me copy this value and send over so that the new record should be created there. So from sysintly, we are trying to send some account number based on the restaurant number, whatever we have, associate all the accounts, they're going to send it out. And those record we are trying to insert in the sysintly. So that is the use case we have. So why it got failed, and so let's display that such error message when it comes as a failure. Whatever written it is not firing there as error messages. Let's see what is happening. Okay, I think the toast message should be injected in some record. I think so. Okay, fine. We don't know the results. What has been there? So let's go here. Success we have. I think. Is this now we got it? Subject rows do not allow errors. Yeah. I think all want a success, but what is this? So response, okay. So you're sending results, history of results, request is made. So MCIND, yes. So debug attributes, yes, we have got a Telangana because MCD India, we had a Telangana record as a child record. And it there, response results, we got it. So we got to the local results also. So now inserts, since records you have to insert in the Salesforce, sysintl you have to insert it. So external ID has been mapped here. So rows 1. So they are trying to insert the record. So one DML rows it's got to happen. I think now the Telangana record, if it has come here, then we are success. Because Telangana was not here early. Let's go to account. Okay, cool. We got this Telangana record here. See this McDonald's Telangana record, it's right away pulled from the system. So this is something here locally which modifying it, but McDonald's Telangana is the one record which was associated to MCD India. Okay, right? In the McDonald's India, so we had the child as who. This Telangana was there. So this is the moment I passed the MCD IND. So I got this McDonald's Telangana record to be inserted. So now currently what is the issue that we see is something error goes and why it is not displaying. So that's the one thing we see here. So what I'll do is I'll try to add the same component to this record page somewhere. Let's see how it works. Edit this essentially page and add that particular component here and try it out whether the error message is displaying or not. We'll see. So then we can fix it up later also, just like displaying some error messages. Fetch MCD aura. So I'm just throwing this here. So component of the stuff we have. Save. Just get back. I'm gonna give the same number and then I'm gonna hit it because it's gonna give me external ID error where they can do duplicate of it. So they are not displaying the toast message when it errors out. So always they think that is a success case and then they don't know about the error message when it got thrown. So what you have to do is we have to set properly error messages here. So we know that you are in a success state which is trying to display some value here. Otherwise, at least success, at least a message should be come here. I feel that this has not been firing up. I know it's because of the second what to find out. Toast are not firing. So leave out this toast get dot toast. And this is how simple way we have. So we shouldn't have an action. E dot get e force refresh view dot fire. Hmm. So what I'll do this time is I won't give this enqueue action. So is it something? This is the issue because at last we were saying that where we didn't declare, that's the reason it has not been able to get inside. But this is crazy. So why we don't have that? mcdind. So it's a duplicate value. It says yes, of course. The till apex class everything it is firing. But why at toast even fire is not happening? Hey, these guys are toast. They're trying to call the method toast.fire. Just like everyone is copy pasting the same code. Shit. Oh, this is all something like Angular JS. Okay, wait. Toast event is not firing and say button. This already known. Sure, toast event is not working. Still not answer for this. I'll drag and title page so it works. So we drag and drop there only. um, Toast component. So their name, panel, whatever. helper.toast they're calling. So input dot length, input text length, they're just sending it here. So title we are receiving it here, and then they are having a title or a message error tricky toast event. So a dot get e4 show. What is the difference here? E got toast defined undefined. Let me inspect this and then let's go to here. So we'll see what the log is. So what it is, I think, so we wanted to just simply try putting this toast message at very beginning, and then let's try it out by calling an action. So I just did mcd and then fetch restaurant. So we're able to see the success message here. But actually, if it is not actually success. Originally, we see at the background, the logic is getting failed. See it for failed in exceptions and then duplicate row. So this why we trusted is, if we put this into the very beginning of line, is it working or not? Yes, it's working. So now what went wrong here? Something there. This is not working.
Get state is not.
Yeah.
It's not going into that loop maybe.
Yeah. So state triple equal to success. So result state is success, and then so they're not able to display some messages here. So they're not able to fire something here. So now let's.
Why triple equal to?
So in JavaScript, we compare a value exact to exact match you want. We can have to have always this triple equals.
Okay. Can you print what is that state value there so that we know?
Yeah, we can do a lot also. So I don't want now alert in JS. So this is too much. And where else we have alert action also is not required. Just let's see the state of how it displays. Quickly come here and then it's error. Of course, it's error. Good. So it is coming to here. But in the written value, I think we don't have anything to display there. Might be if it would have been put errors like this, would have been displayed far better, I think. Let's see. Look at this error displays and we don't have any message, but it comes as an error now. The title they have value, but what error they are not sure.
Yeah.
Correct, right? So the message itself indicates error, and errors, if you see result.get error, they're not getting anything there. I know that we have a console. Okay, so we should have a inspect and see. I have been printed for proxy. Let me it again. So where it got? So something getting as a proxy. Look at this, they have value here. Status code, duplicate value found in MCD customers values on this. So I think to find an errors, all the way you have to get into the field errors and we have to go display get this, and then just show it. We have a snippet for that to go deeper and then display the error messages. So someone would have implemented that. So toast message type error. Okay, let's see. Aura error. Hmm, get error to display in toast. Display epic exception message nicely in Lightning Toast. So let's see. So that's a big error. Messages response dot get error of 0. If I do, then you'll get a whole bunch of error. Exception handled properly. Somewhere I saw that in the past also I have implemented. So what we do is we just go to one level down and then see the error what it is, and then we get the right messages and display it. So this toast message all will be so straightforward. Just trying to say that it's error or failure. Um, okay. So I just want to compare this somewhere here. So in the proxy handle error in the targets we have array, in the array we have duplicates. Now this has a page error and there's a message hiding inside that. This is a status code with duplicate value and the duplicate value found in the MCD. So this is the actual message which is coming. So that we have to try to print it here in the UI. How to display errors. Someone also here displayed saying that the 0th element this one we're trying to handle them separately. Let's see this if this item is getting printed the way the properly it is. So then we'll minimize the structure. And they're not working out, so we have to go drill down and then see the target and we have to get there. So how do we in a for loop we try to do it. There's one. I don't know whether this is the final one we have. There is an exception and unless you are using the correct type is or handled exceptions. Let's have this exception there. throw new Aura handle exceptions. We'll put it there in our controller and we'll use it. Come back to the start and controller. So we have we don't have try catch. Oh, crazy. So let's have a simple try here. This is a open case here.
One else should be the outside. Yeah.
Okay, I think so. It's overall if there. So I think they should be inside this. Try catch, and then this what they're expecting return statement. Unreachable statement 48. So I think this is not required. Perfect. So our handle exception, that is what we were saying. Yeah, our handle exception. Let's copy this. We don't want to waste time there. Some exception comes, then it'll throw back. Then our system will capture that what went wrong, and then we're gonna fire them. Yeah. So meanwhile, something handle errors. So we check that if a type of errors, if it is errors, so then we just go to the message and check what message it will be. Let's see if the type is error, response not get error. From here, so let me copy this exact statement is enough. Toast event, toast params. So errors we are getting from result.get error, and the errors we are having it. So that we are trying to drill down, and then let's display the same. Wow, we got it. So duplicate found on these messages, we were able to print them, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do we got this? I'll tell you now. So if this is success state, yes, we are related on to the results what we get it. In the failure state, yes, if this result is error, so we are taking this error separately, and we want the toast params to be having type error unknown at the very beginning. They are setting this value. So now this result dot error whatever we have is we are storing here temporarily, right? So now in this what we're trying to do is we are just trying to drill down to the error results that what we got, either the first record or inside the messages anything you have. So we're trying to get them. And again, so errors, it's actually an array type. In this error is actually an array type. Out of that we're trying to get the message. So if you see here, somewhere, I think we have taken out the console log for the errors. So we have taken the console log for the get result.get errors. Let's do that and drill it out. No problem.
Here it is. There's a console log, right? What is this? There is
Which one?
in errors. I see console log is there, right?
This the log message is displaying here as of now. So see,
Oh, okay. Log message. Okay, not a console.
duplicate
Actually,
value
all.
found. So it's just displaying exact message they're displaying it. But if you wanted to overall just route again, so we need to have something here or here. So where you just wanted to display only the errors. Getting? So it would give me the bunch of information where how do I go to the respective message and get the error. So that is what we're trying to do. So let me refresh this. So we know it's an error. So this is the error message that we got. We're trying to display here. And if you see, look at here. So the proxy, and there's our target, and there's an array record. We have one message has been present in this. So specifically, did you see this error of 0 dot message? We are specifically picking up there. This, let's say this overall bunch is an error results. So error of 0 and dot message that we get, we will get to know what the exact message we're getting it here. Do you see that? Errors of 0 or errors of 0 dot message, something if we have, then we're trying to display that message. Errors itself is an array. Under that, there's a specifically field called as message. So from there, we're trying to assign to the message params. So earlier here also the same. We are somehow we are trying to assign to the message. Uh, Very beginning they're setting to all to null. Don't know what it is. And the next they are trying to assign the variables and title to respective to this. So any questions here?
No, good.
So what about you, Kumar?
Good, Raj.
This is the old one, I think. Yeah. Good, right? So in this class, what we try to do is we try to hit from the sysintl org to the MCDR, and if the record is found, something we are displaying the right results there, success messages. If not, so what is went wrong that we're trying to display here? So MCDIND, if I just give from the here also, it should tell me something error and what error has been having there. So why they can't insert the record. So you can customize these messages however you want, but you got to know the error whatever we are getting from the system, so we're displaying there. So even here it is. So the use case of today is we are trying to hit from the third party. That is what we said from the last class. So let's go try to hit from the outside the Salesforce external R. So create an R component from sysintl, provide the restaurant number to get the associate customers from MCD, or try to create the record. So both are the same. Either you're trying to provide list of records or you're trying to create a record and show success message or post failure messages in this essentially R. So from here we try to connect to this R and we get the results. So we tried to use the existing Apex class which you tried for integration. Same thing I did. What I did is at the rate or enabled I did it at the top. And what are the few debugs we have been so far we are doing it. So we missed var at the very beginning. So we add the var without this var. I mean the variable itself is not declared. JavaScript are very important. You need to have var everywhere. So that indicates that something like integer a. So if without an integer something, if you have a, so it is undefined statement. So here we try to call a class and then the restaurant param we passed, and then we got the results. Based on the result success, we are trying to display success message. Plus a failure, we are trying to display what exactly the message, where it went wrong. So those messages we giving it here. And otherwise, we see here it is a very simple UI. Just takes a restaurant number and then there's a button to fetch. So this method is calling here, and that's all overall the activity we have.
So if we are not defining the where there, it should not throw an except error while compiling, or I don't know.
Where?
If you didn't define where action, right, in starting. No,
In
no,
the Apex,
in
yeah.
the JS, into JS, you're saying you didn't define the action as a where condition. Top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
variable, yeah.
yeah. If you didn't define, then why it should throw some exception somewhere else, right? Why it didn't throw any exception?
Uh, um, for this, if something is missing out here, so we could not get to know that action is. Let's do this also. I'll just comment this out. Hmm. This is something we need to have a debugger here. Let me control shift here. So if you say that, okay, I don't understand what is happening here. So let me put a debugger if you think.
See, if you're not defining like integer I or something, then it should throw an error right somewhere else. Why it didn't throw until we debug and we found out the
Yeah.
issue.
So that is there. That is there always. Actually, such message we won't get, right? Just a minute. So be sure your debug mode is enabled in your org setup. Setup Lightning components. Be sure caching is enabled. So uncheck the enable secure and persistent. So in order to do debug components, so they're asking this setup to be there. Debug mode. Not debug mode. Session settings. Then enable uncheck the where we have this enable secure and persistent. So I think now we can do it. Timeout will link. So what I'm trying to do is I wanted to debug the R code. What is happening here? So need to run a debugger and check. Like as I said, right? So sometimes we can define the values what has been present there or not. So Chrome plus built-in dev tools plus Lightning tools inspector. Be sure debug mode is enabled in error. Okay. Be sure caching is disabled in error. Okay. The one thing is debug mode. That's what they're saying. So I have put as a debugger there. So it is there. I mean, this is how we put a debug statement here. I think I'm written correct already. Okay. So what we're trying to do here is, so we are trying to run so Chrome dev tool should hold. So they're saying that Chrome dev should Chrome plus built-in dev tools. So from a browser perspective, we need to have that code. More tools. Okay. Okay. Look at this. It's running in debug mode now. So where it indicates. So it will come to your code, debugger mode, and then you say step over the next function. So it'll come to the next line, and then again you go to the next line. So it went somewhere else, right? So to identify this handle is very crazy. So then say next. It didn't go there. Helper method got failed. So if you see that the next line only what didn't happen, what did happen. So I'm restarting from the beginning. So first it is debugger you have put here. So you go into the next line. So when it comes to the next line, it is executing here. And the next line, it jumped out. So this is what something it is going to the background Salesforce server and then checking the code snippet, what is happening. Something in the log, we are able to get the value. We're trying to debug line by line. But this self-looping there only. So what I want to show is here, if you
Down
should,
I'm seeing HTTP error status code 503, right?
yeah. Sorry.
The failure is showing that static JS or something. Or a prod.js map is failed. Yeah.
So HTTP response getting filled here. So one more thing is that if you if you mouse over here, it will tell you the action is holding 0 or it is undefined. If you get from the component, if you are just having this value here, so somewhere it was showing. It is showing here. No? So which this is undefined local variable. So basically, we would try to debug something like this. So very beginning, your control is called, and then the next thing is what the action is called. Whatever the code that you written in developer console, the same logic has been come here. We see here. So overall, it's the same code. So while putting a debug, we can check the same code. So this is the call actions that you're doing, and post that when it comes to action, there is null. So or it says is undefined. So it is not even getting to the next line. So it is stuck there only. So this all indicates so that's something the component that you specified. Suppose that this value would go to the next line. So we'll have an action here, and this action is having none defined. I mean that means they don't have any value there. So if you next move the next line instantly, what happens? It is getting into the deeper section of the server. So we're unable to see what is happening next. Sometimes what happens is it just quickly executes there and come back to the same controller because you are executing and the value has been passed to the next line. It is coming here back. But that way you can easily understand, okay, this line executed, the next line, okay, this line also executed, but there's no value in this. Okay, state is undefined. So why the value is not got? Something previously with the one statement have some issue. You can at least make out. But in this case, the var itself is not there, no? So so that being a crazy here. So if I write a var and then let's say execute next. So I think it is keep looping back to the same. So let me hit to this now, the new statement. Wait. And the moment here, I'll put a var here. It is not allowing to modify here for me. So I thought at least I'll give a var here and then try to execute next. It's not allowing. Only after the line you pass, it is allowing you. Oh, it's a crazy. So to come to next line, and then if you move from the next line, so it is allowing to go there, or else it is not allowing us to do some activity. So overall it is not allowing to modify for us. I think it's in read only mode, so which is not allowing us to modify. If at least I could have given where here, it will work. So it is not allowing me to modify there. So we don't have one step previous. Again, it's getting lost there. To investigate this, and you'll go crazy. So do not take hesitation of this. So I said, how do you put a debugger in your original class and do it? But at least it should have been shown you the best way is